Hey everybody, it is time once again for NHL Games of the Week, where we look ahead to the upcoming week of NHL action, talk about what I think are the best matchups this week. And before we get into it, I just ask you please subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you haven't. Helps the channel an absolute ton and is greatly appreciated. But let's get started here. Games of the Week this week, starting with today, Sunday the 24th. We have a Central Division matchup between the Nashville Predators and Minnesota Wild. Should be a good one and a big one in the Central, as Minnesota has gotten off to a very, very good start. Nashville has not. So this is a big game for the Pred to try and get things turned into the right direction. But should be a fun game, and definitely with those two teams being division rivals, should have a little bit of spiciness to it as well, hopefully. So that's the only one for today. For tomorrow, Monday the 25th, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning against the Buffalo Sabres. And that's a little weird to say, but you got to give some respect here to Buffalo. 3-1-1 to start their season. Now they get a big test in the defending champion Lightning, who themselves aren't off to the best start and will definitely want to be picking up a win because they need 2 points every time, every chance they can get it. So that should be a really interesting one between the Lightning and the Sabres, and will be a good test for Buffalo to see if they're for real or not. Also, Monday, we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Carolina Hurricanes. And, man, Toronto, not their best start to the season in Toronto, especially the last few games. They've really kind of fallen off a bit. Got blown out by Pittsburgh last night. They're going to be looking to come back from that in a big way, but they have another very tough matchup in Carolina against a Hurricanes team that is off to a very, very good start this year. So that'll be a good one. And then out west, we've got the LA Kings against the St. Louis Blues. This is a big, big matchup for the Kings, who are trying to show that they're an improved team this year and headed in the right direction. And then St. Louis, they've just been so hot to start this season. Absolutely playing out of their minds right now. We'll see if that continues against LA. On Tuesday, the 26th, we've got Tampa Bay against Pittsburgh in a rematch of opening night. This is one, again, big matchup for Tampa Bay, who hasn't gotten off to the best start and is definitely looking to get things back going in the right direction and start to look like the Tampa Bay Lightning again. And then you've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are off to a good start despite having key players out of the lineup. Now they have Chris Letang out of the lineup in COVID protocols, so the hits keep coming for Pittsburgh, but the resiliency is unreal there. And they just keep finding ways to win hockey games. So we'll see how that one goes. But that should be a great matchup between the Lightning and the Pens. We also have the Vegas Golden Knights against the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday. Every time those two teams meet, it is always a great matchup. They met in the playoffs last year. And, a game that I'm very, very excited for, and a matchup that I always cover every chance that I can. Definitely one of the games of the week. Then we have the San Jose Sharks against the Nashville Predators. And similar to the Buffalo Sabres, you've got to show some respect here for the San Jose Sharks. They have started their season 4-0. They got a big game this afternoon against the Boston Bruins in Boston. But San Jose has been a lot better than I expected them to be so far this year. And they're going on the road. Got a big matchup in Nashville against a team that hasn't gotten off to a good start. And that's going to be a really, really interesting one. And again, chance for San Jose to start showing that they're for real. When you get into like week 3 of the season, weeks 3 and 4, it becomes more than just a flash in the pan hot start. And if you're still performing at the level, a month into the year, then it's starting to be like, okay, this team is actually starting to show that they're a good team. And we'll see if San Jose is able to do that. Big game on Tuesday. Wednesday night, we've got a couple of big ones, starting with the Boston Bruins against the Florida Panthers. Two teams in the East that are looking to be near the top of the Eastern Conference this year. Florida off to an unreal start. I think the most dominant team in the league so far. Boston has had, a roller coaster start. They had a good first game, a bad second game, and a good third game. Fourth game is today against San Jose. We'll see how they play in that one, but it's been a roller coaster start for the Bruins, and this is a huge matchup against a very good team in the Florida Panthers. We've got the Vegas Golden Knights against the Dallas Stars. Vegas has to play back-to-back games on the road, but they go to Dallas for this one. And Vegas has not gotten off to a good start this year. They are struggling. They've got a lot of guys out of the lineup with injuries, which obviously is having a big impact on what they're able to do. Dallas has been pretty solid to start this season, so that's going to be a really interesting one there between the Golden Knights and the Stars. Moving on now to Thursday the 28th, Boston plays again against Carolina. So they play Florida Wednesday night. They have Carolina Thursday night. That is a tough back-to-back for the Bruins. Again, I think we're really going to get an idea of where this team is at right now and how good this Bruins team is or isn't with these tough games this coming week. And then Carolina looking to continue their very, very good start. They haven't lost yet. They're looking great here to start the season. We get a Central Division matchup between the Avalanche and the Blues. This is a huge game in the Central. Again, the Blues are off to a red-hot start. And then the Avalanche have not had the start to the season that they were hoping for. So big matchup there on Thursday between Central Division rivals. On Friday, the 29th, we've got the Columbus Blue Jackets against the New York Rangers. Rangers, as of now, are on a 4-game winning streak. They had a huge come-from-behind win yesterday over Ottawa. Columbus started off pretty good, but then the last few games have fallen more into what we were expecting to see from Columbus. So it's been a little bit of a drop-off from the Blue Jackets, but we'll see. This is a big game for them in New York, and obviously the Rangers are looking on to extend a winning streak on home ice here, if the winning streak is still active at this point by Friday. But they're looking to pick up every win that they can get in a very tough Metropolitan Division. So that should be a good divisional matchup there. And then in typical NHL fashion, after a light Friday night with not much going on, there's a massive slate of games on Saturday and a lot of great matchups on Saturday on the 30th this week. So starting off, we've got the Florida Panthers and Boston Bruins playing again. This time it's in Boston, and again, just huge matchup in the Eastern Conference. We've got the Minnesota Wild against the Colorado Avalanche. Avalanche are on this list a lot this week. They have a huge week of games, but Minnesota, like we talked about earlier, off to a fantastic start. Colorado, not so much. So this is a huge game for those two teams in the Central Division, a division rivalry matchup as well. We have the Edmonton Oilers against the Vancouver Canucks in the Pacific Division. That's a huge one out in the West there. Edmonton is off to a very, very good start, undefeated as of right now. Vancouver, they've kind of had an up and down start. They've looked great in some games, not so good in others. But they're trying to be a playoff team in the Pacific. This is a big matchup against their Western Canadian rival. We have the New Jersey Devils against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Devils are missing some guys right now. They've had some injury problems. And Pittsburgh, also a lot of important pieces out of the lineup. No Crosby yet. No Malkin. Now Letang in COVID protocols. So there's pieces missing for both of these teams, but nonetheless, it's going to be a really good matchup in the Metro, and should be a really interesting game as these two go at it, and that should be a fun one. Then finally, we've got the Chicago Blackhawks against the St. Louis Blues. Just an absolute classic rivalry right there between Chicago and St. Louis. That rivalry in itself makes it a great matchup. And then you've got two teams on completely opposite spectrums to start this season. The Blues, incredible out of the gate, playing awesome hockey, winning a ton of games. Chicago, one of the last winless teams in the NHL. We'll see if they're able to change that before they get to this game against the Blues But Chicago, really, really troubling start for them. So you've got two teams, one doing very well, one doing very not well, and a huge rivalry matchup here between those two. So those are my games of the week for this week in the NHL. I know that I'm going to be watching as many of these as I can. I'm going to be streaming a few of these games, and it should be a really, really fun week in the NHL again this week. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merchandise store, memberships, and donations are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.